Hi there, my name's Terry Dempsey. I'm the owner of Urban Baits. I've come down to here, to the Chase Lakes in Essex in East London for some winter carp fishing. I've not been down here for a couple of years. I have fished this lake on and off in the winter for about the last 40 odd years. So I've been coming down here since I was about 12 years of age. We decided to come down here to do some bait application videos and to talk about bait application, the sort of stuff that I would do in the winter. This is a different lake to what I'm used to fishing. I'm used to fishing sort of low stock, big pits. This is, I suppose, about 12 acres, this lake, but there's a lot of carp in here, but that's what you want in January. It's 17th of January, it's really cold, it's probably -2 this morning when I got down here, a thick frost. We've had a good look around. We've found some fish not far from where I am, under a bridge, just down to our left. So I'm going to fish this swim. I'm going to try and do something a bit different to what people generally do in the winter. I'm going to put a bit of bait out. I'm not going to go mad. I'm going to put 6 bombs out and see what happens. I come down here about 2 years ago, the last time, maybe 3 seasons back, and over the period of a night I put quite a lot of bait in and it seemed to work well. So we'll try that and see how we get on. Over the next few months, we're going to be doing quite a few articles in CARPology and also some videos. This trip here, we've come to an easier lake because obviously it's the middle of January and it's a bit tough on the big gravel pits. But over the next couple of weeks, I'm starting to fish a new lake. It's a 35-acre gravel pit. It's a reasonable stock. It isn't too low. It's a reasonable stock. I think there's about 100 odd fish in there, saying 35 acres, so what, 3 or 4 fish an acre, which is quite a lot for me really. A lot of the lakes that I've fished over the last sort of 10 years have been less than that. So I'm really looking forward to that, and there's some good fish in there as well. And what we're going to do like a campaign on there. And the thing is, over the last sort of, I don't know, 30, 40 years, most of my fishing has been campaign fishing. So I very rarely ever fish a lake like a day ticket like this, maybe in the winter, but most of my summer fishing and spring fishing has always been campaign fishing. And what I mean by that is that I'm sort of fishing one lake. I'm concentrating on one lake. Because a lot of these lakes are really hard and I'm after a certain amount of fish, and with the limited time of having my own, having to work and having a family as well, my campaign fishing is I really have to put a lot of effort in to the lake that I'm fishing. So what I mean by that is we're going to be doing a lot of preparation. The guys at CARPology are going to come along and film a lot of this preparation that we're going to do. So we're going to be finding spots, baiting spots, and trying our hardest to make the job a lot more simpler. So when I do arrive at the lake, I've got a good idea of where the fish are going to be feeding or where they have been feeding due to the bait that I've been putting in the lake. So I'm really looking forward to this, and I know the guys are at CARPology as well. They're looking forward to it, and hopefully we can do a good bit of filming for this campaign fishing and hopefully put a good fish on the bank for the cameras. So the bait I'm using today is the 𝘃𝗶𝗶𝗀. It's not the freezer 𝘃𝗶𝗱𝗲, it's not the shelf life, it's the Himalayan salt range. We brought the Himalayan salt range out because a lot of anglers were going to France and fishing lakes where they're not allowed to use shelf life baits. So with the Himalayan salt, what it is, it's we get the boilie, we dry it out, and we dry it out in a period of time, and then we leave it in the salt. And what it does is that the salt is taking the moisture out of the bait, which is stopping it from turning, stopping it from going off. We put a small amount of salt as well inside the bait to keep the moisture in the bait. I first got the idea when I was in Europe, and I met a group of German anglers, and they were curing their baits in salt, and they were preserving the baits using salt, which is what people do a lot in Europe. They're using salt to not just baits, obviously for food as well. So they're preserving. It's a natural preserve for most types of food. So once I started using it, I started having some good results, and we decided to bring it out. I've used salt in my baits now for about 20 years. I've been putting salt in my baits, my fish meal baits especially. So then I started to put it into the nut baits as well, and we started to getting some good results. So what it stops is, it stops a lot of lakes nowadays that you're not allowed to use shelf lives. And you know, if you take a freezer bait there's a good chance that the bait's going to turn around. So it stops the baits turning. It keeps them fresh. And so this is what we're using today here. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build like an area out there. Like I've put quite a few spoms out of a lot of small stuff. So I've crumbed a lot of baits down. I've mixed in some stick mix, and I've mixed some 2mm pellets. There's quite a few birds diving out here, so I'm hoping that there's quite a few, lots of bits and pieces down there that can hold some bait in the swim, because the boilies are disappearing really quick. So I'm hoping that when the carp do come in, there's still plenty of bait down there, even though the birds are diving on me like crazy at the moment. And with a bit of luck, we'll have a fish. One of the reasons that I've put quite a few baits out in this trip, even in these cold temperatures, is I was down here about 2 years ago, and I fished on the other side from where I am now, and I introduced quite a lot of bait on one rod, and I had 2 rods with hardly any bait round it, and I had 1 rod with quite a lot of bait round it, like 7 or 8 spoms, and that was the rod that kept going. And throughout the night I was catching fish, and what I realised is maybe the noise of the spom was bringing the fish in, because every sort of few hours I was getting another fish, and I was rebaiting. Even at 1 or 2 in the morning I was putting out 7 or 8 spoms, and this seems to work really well, and I just think that it just keeps bringing the fish back into the swim. And the funny thing was, I did run out of bait that trip about 3 or 4 in the morning, and as soon as I ran out of bait and I didn't put any more bait in, that was it. I didn't have any more takes. So what I'm planning to do this 24-hour session is maybe every 5 or 6 hours to put another handful of spoms out there and just see if it is that's bringing the fish in, or maybe that the fish are coming along cleaning you out as well, you know. So just by keeping the bait topped up in the swim, even in these temperatures, hopefully that'll put a carp on the bank. Well, it's been a beautiful day at the chase today. It's been absolutely sunny here. The temperature must have got up to about, I don't know, 10 degrees, but in the sun it felt a lot warmer. But it looks like tonight we're in for a really cold night. So I reckon it's going to drop down to about -2 tonight, -3 even. Hopefully the lake don't freeze. It's been a bit quiet on the fishing front. I had no liners, or I haven't seen a single fish since I've been here. Birds have been diving on me again all day. I was just wondering, there's a couple out there just now diving, so maybe there's still a bit of bait out there. Hopefully during the night the fish will move in on us. But speaking to the lads further down the bank, it's been quiet all along. No one's seen a fish, so maybe this cold snap has put them down a bit. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully in the night we get some action. I was going to put a few spoms out just on dark, because the birds have been hammering me. And I do know these fish in here, there's a lot of fish in here, and if they do come across you, you do get that, you know, you can go through quite a lot of bait. So I might just put out 3 or 4 spombs once that sun goes down, because at the minute that sun's right in my eyes. I won't have a clue. I can't see my spot. Just about see the odd ripple when a coot goes down. So we're looking forward to a quite cold night tonight, and just see what happens. Hopefully we get a fish. We had 3 takes in the night, all under the ice. I could see the ice sort of forming during the night. Each time I woke up and looked out, there was more ice. And I ended up with 3 takes. This one here, I just had to play from under the ice. I won't be able to get my rod back on the spot. A lovely mirror, it really did fight. I don't know, it must have been a good 15 minutes. 20 minutes, it was just pulling and pulling and pulling. So I'm really happy with this. They're quite rare in here as well, the mirrors. Mostly commons, so worked out perfect. The bait, caught this over a load of crumb, a load of chopped baits, pellet, spotted up, and a little yellow tuna and garlic pop-up this one was on. It's a little dark common come last night, during the middle of the night. Caught down to the left, up against sort of sunken tree down to my left. I flicked a bait down there just after dark, and middle of the night it rattled off. Tiny little common, but a beautiful condition. So this was, you know, my first carp of the year of 2022, and from the Chase Back Lake, a lake that I fished nearly all my life. So I was well happy with it. Small fish, but absolute stunner. So yeah, we had quite a good night really, considering the lake froze over during the night. As the night went on, I kept waking up and I could see the ice forming across the lake. And but we managed hooking 3 carp during the night, so which was quite surprising really, considering the conditions. It was absolutely freezing. 2 of them come on a rod down to the left in close. Well, I didn't put a rod there until late. And one of them come off the baited area where I put all the crumb and the pellet and the boiler yesterday. The rig that I used was the multi-rig, one of my favourite rigs. I've caught so many big carp, very, very simple. A lot of guys have seen me tie it before. I really can't tie it today. My hands are absolutely freezing. I can't feel them at all. I've got a hot 𝘃𝗶𝗀𝗲 here just to try and bring some life into them. But it was just a basic multi-rig, a little bit of putty, just lifted off the bottom, so it's not lifted too far, so it wasn't like a really high pop-up. And funny enough, one of my mates called me just after dark last night and he said, "Tell," he said, "this lake doesn't respond to pop-ups." even though last time I was here I'd done really well fishing with pop-ups. He said, oh, you need wafters. Anyway, so I had 3 bites last night on pop-ups, so you know, you can get a bite on a pop-up. But again, the multi-rig is so simple to use. It really does sit nice, and it doesn't sit too far off the bottom. So it's a tuna and garlic yellow pop-up. The mirror come on, the other 2 bites come on washed out pink nutcracker. Just using a nice soft bit of coated braid, really soft coated braid, and a size 6 hook. So, and I'm just screwing the bait, the screw into the bait. So that was the rig that done the business. Probably about what, 7 or 8 inches long, 7 inches long. Fished on a fixed lead with a drop-off lead. Well, we've come to the end now of our 24 hours on the Chase back lake. It's been quite, it's been productive really. I expected more because the last time I was here I'd done really well, fishing over quite a lot of bait, but the conditions this time have been totally different. Last time I was here I was seeing fish show, even though it was January as well, the fish were showing. It was a lot milder, and the fish were having it. This time it's been really high pressure, it's been freezing cold. It was -4 this morning. The lake was froze over completely apart from the little corner where I'm fishing at the moment. But during the night I had 3 bites, so can't complain with that. All good. It's not going to be long before we're going to do another video, but the next time you'll be coming to the lake where I'm going to be doing my campaign and I'm going to be doing my proper fishing this year. So I do look forward to that. We'll probably wait a month or so for things to start warming up. In the meantime, I might come and have another night on this back lake at the Chase because I do like it over here. I've fished over here since I was probably 11 years of age. So I've seen this place mature through the years, and it's just nice to come back. And it isn't too far from where I live as well. And the people who run it are good people. It's a really nice place and a great winter water, as you can see. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And I will see you guys soon.